Hello and welcome back to Wisdom Talks, and I'm here to talk to you. I was just sitting here thinking, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just make a video. And I was thinking about why it's so important to learn the lesson the first time. You know, a lot of times, you ever felt like you knew what you were supposed to be doing and you still felt as if maybe you were getting it wrong, or maybe you were supposed to do something else, just to then in turn learn the lesson over again and have to go through another cycle of learning the same thing all over again. And I think it's interesting that as humans, sometimes we have to learn things the hard way over and over and over again before we finally get the lesson, before we finally listen. And I think it's because a lot of times, I feel a lot of people just don't trust themselves. A lot of people don't trust their decision making. They don't know if they're making the right decisions. They don't know if they're going in the right direction. And so they are constantly thinking, am I making the right decision? You know, it's called a double mind. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and I can see why. Because my whole life I've been just, do I make it? Do I not make it? Do I do it? Do I not do it? Oh wait, what if I do it? Oh, what if I don't do it? Like, you will go nowhere like that. You will go nowhere like that. You will be stuck in the same spot. You know, there's people that you might meet maybe older than you, and you talk to them and you can tell that they are exactly where they were 20 years ago. Mentally, they have never grown. And that's actually really sad, because a big part of living life is experiencing your growth. When you have that aha moment, right? When you look back and you think, oh, this is why this didn't work out. This is why I was supposed to do this. This is why that was supposed to happen, right? But think of all those people who have just been living life and they've never even had an aha moment where they get some type of secret code to how to fix their life, right? And it's because they've never learned how to stop repeating the same lessons. You cannot escape. When God is trying to put you through a lesson and he's trying to show you something, you cannot escape the lesson. So you will keep repeating the same cycle, just in different forms, until you finally realize that this is what he was trying to say. All right? A lot of time can get wasted when you don't learn from the lesson that you just was taught. All right? Many of us know what we're supposed to be doing, and we are making other decisions, and we are making other things, and we're thinking that we're constantly doubting ourselves and doubting God, and thinking that, oh no, I don't think this is the right decision. Oh no, I don't think God will be telling me this, right? Even though you know in your gut that's what he told you. But then you get a little antsy and you get a little hesitant, doubtful, and you start to go the other way, right? And what happens when you go the other way? Well, you was right here, right? You went forward, okay? You took some steps forward, and then what happened? You got right before you was about to get to your next level, right? And you doubted. You doubted where you was going. You doubted what was next, because in your mind, it was getting a little bit too real. The decision, right? The decision you need to make, whatever it is, the decision you need to make. That's what this video is going to be about. Finally making a decision that you need to make. What has God been telling you to do that you just feel that you can get around it and you can do what you want to do and you can make your own decisions, right? because there's another way around the lesson. There is no other way around. There's only through. Okay? You can only go through something. You cannot go around it. All right? So when you realize that, and you realize, wow, okay, I'm going to keep learning this lesson over and over again. Even when I think, oh, I escaped the lesson, right? I escaped the lesson. No, I cracked the code. Because we have those moments where we think we cracked the code. We think we did something. And we didn't do nothing. All we did was take the steps right on back to the beginning, to the start line. That's all you did. You didn't get nowhere. And that's why you need to realize that when you are blatantly being disobedient, blatantly going against what God is telling you to do, okay? Yeah, I'm going to just say what it is. When you are blatantly going against what He's telling you to do, which you know, this is not something that you think that He's saying. No, this is something you know He said to you. This is something you know He told you to do. When you think you can go against that and do whatever you want to do, okay, you're going to be sadly mistaken, because you're going to be right back at the start. So then you got to go through the whole thing over again. When are you going to break the cycle and just trust that if God is telling you to move a certain way, then that's the way you need to be moving, and you need to just trust it? When are you going to do that? How many more of these lessons are you going to have to learn? Learn the lesson. Just learn it. It don't matter if this is your 100th time having to learn it. Just learn it so you can go to the next lesson. You can go to the next cycle of your life. It's so sad when you talk to people that are older, or, when you talk to older people and you can tell that they just never learned what God was trying to teach them for them to grow and expand. They just stayed in this same spot. And it's unfortunately, it's people who are young who it's the same way. It's no different. It's not no better because they're young. Oh, you can tell, and it says, they were given over to a reprobated mind. That I can see that clearly in a lot of people, even younger people, right? You talk to them and you be like, you hear, you thinking, this person always gonna be like this. This person is not ever going to change. Some people you could just tell. And it's very sad to watch. And it's very sad to just witness somebody not being able to do something about them own selves. You can do something about yourself. You can stop repeating the lesson. You can stop needing God to show you the same thing over and over again. Let me ask you something. What in you, okay, what is in you that is making you feel like you don't trust what God got for you already? You're not trusting what God is saying He got for you. Because a lot of people out there, they have their own personal relationship with God where they talk to Him and they know Him for themselves. And they know what they need to do. What is taking you so long to just make the decision? And I'm only speaking to this because I'm speaking to myself as well. I've done this in my life where I had to learn the lesson for the 20th time, right? 20th time, you got to learn something and you got to go through it all over again. That's life that I can't get back. That's life that's completely wasted. Yeah, I learned the lesson, but I didn't learn it at the time. I had to learn it again, and then again, and then again, and then again, and then again. You got to get hurt 20 times before you finally listen. Oh, I ain't supposed to be doing that. Okay, I'm supposed to be over here. I'm supposed to be focused on something else. So I just want you to understand that when you are not learning the lesson, when you are choosing, because sometimes things is a choice. A lot of things are a choice, all right? You could be choosing to stay in the cycle because you want God to move on. You want the decision you are making. You want it your way. You want God to move on your time and on your accordance and under the way you want it to be ran. You don't want to follow orders and you don't want to follow His jurisdiction. And that's part of the reason why your life haven't gotten where you wanted to get. Because in your mind, you thinking you just telling God something, and you ain't telling God nothing. All you doing is just holding up your life. You're just holding your life up. You're just standing still. God like, okay, well, did you learn the lesson yet? Because I literally cannot take you to the next space until you learn it. You keep thinking, oh, God, I kind of learned it. Just take me. Just take me. No, that's not how it works. You need to learn the lesson so that you won't repeat the lesson. That is the only reason why God puts us through things and allow things to happen and allow us to be hurt over and over and over again, right? It's because at some point it is a choice, and also because he wants us to learn from the lesson so that we don't repeat the lesson, so that we can actually elevate and grow. Think about people who's been doing the same thing for 30 years. They never elevated and grew. That is so sad, because that's literally what you're here to do. You're here to grow and expand, become a better person, better human every day. So if you're stuck in a cycle, a 20-year cycle, that's how a lot of people, when they get older and they do finally wake up, they have a lot of bitterness in their heart. When you get of age, you want to feel like, I know I lived my life the way I was supposed to. I feel good. You know, or I might have shouldn't have did this and that, but I feel good about everything else. I did everything I wanted to do. You know, I pushed, I grew as much as I could. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by you want to get your most full potential out of life. You don't want to be just stuck, getting hurt, being sad, praying to God, why God, why God, why God? And he ain't moving because you ain't moving. You got to move towards God before he can move towards you, before you guys can get closer. So that's the main thing, is stop feeling like you can't break the cycle. You can break the cycle. You can you can just choose to learn the lesson. When you choose to learn the lesson, you've broken the cycle. The cycle is finito. It's broken. But if you're choosing to stay in the same pattern and do the same thing, what they say? What's the quote? What's the quote when they say you're crazy when you do the same thing and you're expecting different results? That's what that's like. So you're doing the same thing, but you're expecting different results. You're expecting God to move on in your life, but you're doing the same thing you've been doing. You're just doing it a different way. You just fancied it up. You just made it look a little bit different, but you're doing the same thing. So I hope this resonated with somebody. I hope that you can stop the cycle and you can just learn the lesson, so God can elevate you and move you to the next lesson, the next thing you don't have to overcome. And yes, it could be a lot, it could be draining, but just learn how to learn things one time. Stop feeling the need to be like, wait, I gotta understand, but I just gotta understand, but I just gotta understand. You don't understand nothing. You gotta keep moving forward. That's what we're here to do. So I hope this message really resonated and really helped you today, and I hope you come back to hear more of my talks. Bye.